So let's talk about Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller, which is celebrating its 15th anniversary today. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2006 fantasy comedy flick Night at the Museum, released by Fox, directed by Sean Levy, and written by Robert Ben Garant and Thomas Lennon. Based on the 1993 children's book of the same name by Croatian illustrator Milan Trenk. The film stars Ben Stiller in the leading role along with Carla Gugino, Dick Van Dyke, Mickey Rooney, Bill Cobbs, and Robin Williams in his last ever good role, good flick as a supporting character, considering I mentioned RV was his last good film as a good film as a starring role. Yeah, well, as a main character anyway, which came out earlier that year. But enough about that. The film tells the story of a divorced father who applies for a job as night watchman at New York City's American Museum of Natural History, and subsequently discovers that the exhibits animated by a magical Egyptian artifact come to life at night. The film was a big hit, but unfortunately received mixed reviews from critics, but I'll get to that later. So let's get into our story. Ben Stiller plays Larry Daly, a Brooklyn divorcee whose unstable work history causes his ex-wife Erica to believe that he is a bad example to their 10-year-old son Nick, who plays junior hockey, and Larry fears that Nick respects Don more than him. Cecil Fredericks, an elderly security guard about to retire from the American Museum of Natural History, hires Larry despite his unpromising resume. The museum, which is rapidly losing money, plans to replace Cecil and his two colleagues, Gus and Reginald, with one guard. Cecil gives Larry an instruction booklet on how to handle museum security, advises Larry to leave some lights on that night, and warns him not to let anything in or out. Once night falls, Larry discovers that the exhibits come to life, including a playful Tyrannosaurus skeleton nicknamed Rexy, who behaves like a dog, a mischievous stuffed capuchin monkey named Dexter, who develops a habit of stealing his keys, various other African animals, rival miniature civilizations portraying the Old West, ancient Rome, and ancient Maya, an Easter Island Moai obsessed with chewing gum, and wax models of various historical figures, including the violent Attila the Hun, who desires to tear the limbs off his victims. 4 pyromaniacal Neanderthals, Sacagawea, who is locked in a glass case unlike the other exhibits, and Teddy Roosevelt, who rescues Larry from the miniature leaders Jedediah and Octavius from the Old West and Roman dioramas, respectively. Teddy explains that since an ancient Egyptian artifact, the golden tablet of Pharaoh Akhmenra, I mispronounced that. If I did, I do apologize, came to the museum in 1952. For the last 54 years, all of the exhibits have come to life each night. If the exhibits are outside the museum when the sun rises, they turn to dust. Teddy helps Larry by restoring order, but only for one night. In the process, Larry finds out that Teddy has a crush on Sacagawea, but without the confidence to go talk to her through her glasses way, Cecil, Reginald, and Gus return to check on Larry, but Larry quits until Nick and Don show up on their way to school to congratulate him on his new job. This motivates him to reconsider his night guard duties for the sake of his own son. Glad to see him back, Cecil advises him to do research on various histories to prepare for his next night shift. The next night, Larry uses what he has learned to better control the exhibits, but 4 Neanderthals set fire to their display, and Dexter once again escapes with Larry's keys. While Larry is dealing with the fire, Dexter unlocks and opens a window. As Larry deals with Dexter and the The warring miniatures. I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. One of the Neanderthals notices a trash fire through the open window and leaps out. Larry, frustrated with everything going wrong, gives the keys to Roosevelt and once again decides to quit. But as he walks out, a metal statue of Christopher Columbus gestures to the open window where a Neanderthal has escaped. Larry runs out to rescue him, but the sun rises and he disintegrates into a pile of dust. His remains are then swept up by a mechanical street sweeper. The next morning, museum director Dr. McPhee almost fires Larry after what had happened to the Neanderthal exhibit, until Larry begs him to reconsider. Larry then offers Rebecca a meeting with Sacagawea, but she believes that he is mocking her. Larry brings Nick to the museum to show him the exhibits, but none of them come to life. They find Cecil, Gus, and Reginald stealing the tablet and other valuable objects. Like the exhibits, the guards received enhanced vitality from the artifact and plan to frame Larry for the thefts. They have also disabled the tablet to stop the exhibits from interfering. With his father's encouragement, Nick reactivates the tablet and runs away with the artifact. After a chase throughout the museum, Cecil locks up Nick and his father in the Egyptian room and steals back the tablet. After being attacked by the massive Anubis statues, Larry releases Akhmenrau's mummy from his sarcophagus. The pharaoh speaks English from many years as an exhibit at Cambridge and helps Larry and Nick escape. The three find the other exhibits fighting with each other after helping Attila deal with past trauma, causing him to act out tearfully. Larry comforts him by singing him a lullaby and then convinces the exhibits to work together to catch the guards and recover the tablet. Alright, now for the ending. You know the procedure like always. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid the ending spoilers. If you've seen the movie already, please continue on after the 5 seconds are over with. Thank you for your understanding like always, and here we go now. Okay, you've been warned. The Civil War soldiers, Neanderthals, and Christopher Columbus capture Gus and Reginald without much difficulty, but Cecil escapes by stagecoach. He almost runs Sacagawea over, but instead runs Tay over and slices him in half when he shoves her out of the way. Larry, Nick, Akmarana, Jed, Octavius, Rexy, and Attila pursue Cecil to Central Park, where they stop him and regain the tablet. Jed and Octavius crash their remote-control Hummer at one point, but return heroically and surprisingly unharmed. Tay is fixed by Sacagawea, and that, of course, with warm wax. Rebecca sees the exhibits return to the museum before sunrise and realizes that Larry was telling the truth. He introduces her to Sacagawea. McPhee initially fires Larry again after seeing news reports of the strange events around the museum, such as cave paintings in the museum's subway station, dinosaur footprints in Central Park, and cavemen sightings. However, upon seeing how much these events raised museum attendance, he restores Larry to his night guard position, allowing him to continue his job. Larry, Nick, and the exhibit celebrate the following night with a huge party, and during the credits, Cecil, Gus, and Reginald are now working as janitors at the museum as punishment for their crimes. End of story. So, what did I think of Night at the Museum? Well, I have seen it a few times, more recently on Disney Plus, and I gotta say, it's a very fun-filled flick, and I think this is one flick your kids will enjoy. Now, of course, the film was released on this day, December 22nd, 2006, 15 years ago. Well, I must say, it's pretty much of a fun flick. The film, of course, was directed by Sean Levy, who recently helmed several other films like Big Fat Liar and Cheaper by the Dozen and Just Married and The Pink Panther with Steve Martin, which came out that same year. Of course, he'd also gone on to direct Date Night, Real Steel, The Internship, and more recently, Free Guy. He'd also direct the 2 sequels as well to this film. Since this, of course, was produced by with Chris Columbus's 1492 Pictures and Levy's own 21 Laps Entertainment. The score was done by Alan Silvestri, who has done scores for numerous good movies and what have you. I think his scores are very good. The cast performances are pretty good too. I mean, I like Ben Stiller's Larry, very good. Carla Gugino plays Rebecca. We have Dick Van Dyke as Cecil. Mickey Rooney in one of his last performances as Gus. Bill Cobbs as Reginald, who I've seen him in some movies. I only know him best from maybe I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and Air Bud and probably a few others. Let's see. Jake Cherry plays Nick. He's pretty good. Ricky Gervais, who of course most people know him best from the original British version of The Office. He'd also do some other films. Let's see, Kim Raver, who I've seen her before. I think she was on 24, I believe. Yes, yeah, it was her. Where she played Audrey Raines, and of course she played Tay Altman on Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, let's see. We even get appearances from Paul Rudd and Ann Mira as well. Of course, Ann Mira is actually Ben Stiller's real life mother. Yes, you better believe it. You heard me correctly. Now, as for the exhibits, well, Patrick Gallagher does Attila the Hun. Rami Malek is the mummy of Akmenra. Let's see. Steve Coogan plays Octavian. Owen Wilson plays Jedediah, but unfortunately he was uncredited though. But was credited for the rest of the film, the next 2 films though. Brad Garrett voiced the Easter Island head, and of course the late great Robin Williams played Theodore Roosevelt, which I thought was a great performance of his, and I really liked that. Anyway, despite the mixed reception it got and what have you, the film still did pretty well, as it went on to make $574 million worldwide. So anyway, I think this is not too bad of a flick. I mean, kind of makes you feel like you're seeing Jumanji again, but only it's more like in a museum. So anyway, with all that said, in the end, with a great big all-star cast, a pretty good story, which isn't too bad, and a great score by Alan Silvestri and all that jazz. Would I recommend Night at the Museum? I would say yes, definitely. Give it a shot. And like I said, I think your kids will like it too. But anyway, now I will review the sequels sometime down the road. There is currently a brand new reboot in the works for Disney Plus, just like they more recently had done with Diary of a Wimpy Kid. But anyway, what are your thoughts on Night at the Museum? Please tell me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Excuse me. Join me next time when I bring to you another anniversary review, and it'll be on Dirty Harry with Clint Eastwood. Thank you for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider checking out my reviews for these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the film I had just brought up, Jumanji, which had Robin Williams. The upper right-hand corner is my review for a film that Mr. Williams did earlier that year, and I figured it's so underrated, RV, or if you want something else, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of a film that Ben Stiller recently lent his voice to a year before this, in Madagascar. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.